Hey everybody, this is Rich Noto. I am a Florida licensed realtor, Florida licensed home inspector, and a notary public with loan signing agent certification. So right now, the whole purpose of this video is I wanted to talk to you about home inspections and kind of talk about the reasons why you should have one. So I'm going to explain some parts of how your home is built and also, things that can happen. So let's get started. So the first thing is that your home inspection should be a number one top priority that you have done in the building process. So this is not a time when you want to scrimp or be cheap. Let me just be honest, because for a few $100s for the course of the home inspection, which is very small, and up here I put small dollars now, is going to save you lots of dollars later on. And these ugly things over here that I wrote, these things are dollar symbols. And I know they look terrible, but that's what they are. They're dollar symbols. So, the point is that the home inspector is going to find things wrong with the house now. That way you don't get surprised later on, because let's face it, some of the things that could be wrong with a home, it might not really show itself in full until years later, like potentially a slow leak. Okay, so number one thing to understand is that your home is being built by many different contractors. There's many different companies that are going to be in the house. They're going to be working on your home. Okay, so really, what does this mean? This means that it's not the sort of thing like some people do think, where the particular home builder has their own team. It's not like walking into a store, you walk into a supermarket or whatever, and everybody works for the company. They're all trained that way. These are contractors, plumbers, roofers, carpenters that are all just local in the area. They are doing the work for each builder. Now, from one builder to another home builder, the same companies might be there. So potentially, the home that you're interested in from one builder might have 80% of the same people working on the home at another builder. So just keep that in mind. So number two, the quality of work is going to vary. It's going to vary a lot. It's going to vary based on the company, how they do things. It's going to vary, based on the individual contractor. Let's just say, the contractor's having a bad day. Maybe the contractor's having problems at home, or maybe the boss has been bad to him, not paying him enough or her enough. Maybe the builder said, hurry up, we need this home to close by a certain date for a deadline. And then, the builders just the person that's doing the work's had enough and said, okay, well, they want it built fast. I'm supposed to put 6 nails here. I'm going to put 2. It'll be fast. I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny, but, that's the truth. So, there's lots of things that can go wrong. Possibly the contractor hates their job, Number three, the construction managers for home builders. Now, a lot of people do think, well, there's construction managers. There's also a county inspector that's going to come in to look at the homes. Well, yeah, but they don't find everything, and there's typically a ton of stuff that your home inspector that you hire is still going to find. Now, it's also important to have your home inspector as well, because you're going to get photos and a PDF file, a write-up. So this is stuff that you would have in the future. Heaven forbid, there were issues with your home. So, basically what it is, it's something that you would show to the construction manager, after the home inspection after the home inspection is completed, but also for you in the future if the home, if the construction manager chooses not to fix it. So you have proof. Okay, so the construction managers have way too many homes to watch. And most builders, these construction managers could have 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 homes. They could have tons of them. It could be one person and they're just overwhelmed by these homes. So, they're not really looking over the homes. They might walk into it quickly and go, okay, yeah, the work was done, and then they leave. But as far as really checking over the homes, they just don't have the time. And some of them probably just don't have the motivation either. Okay, so construction managers have too many homes to watch. Number 4, it's new. So many people think because it's new, they confuse that with, it's not old, so it's not going to break or be broken. Okay, so yes, it's new, and the parts should last longer than a old home would. But if it's built poorly, which any home can be built poorly. I mean, you can purchase a resale home, and a resale home at one time was a new home. If that home never had an inspection at the time it was built, it might not be built as well as it could have been. Okay, so the home inspection on a new construction build is something that you want because you want to make sure that your home is being assembled correctly. It's the assembly, how it's being put together. Okay, so I'm going to go over a few things over here which are pretty straightforward. The electrical system. Okay, everybody's heard of electrical fires, right? If the wiring is incorrect in the various components of the electrical system, so your outlets, your plugs, anytime there's a plug, if the plug is a 2-prong or a 3-prong plug, the hot and the neutral and the ground all have to be wired right. Okay, so the fire might come from the actual thing that you have plugged in, because when the items that you plug into the walls, whatever it may be, a TV, it could be a toaster oven, it could be anything, anything that you plug in, it is made to function with the proper wiring. The flow of electric has to be correct. Okay, so pretty simple, and this is the first thing on my list, of course, because of fire. Nobody would want a fire in the future. Okay, so your home inspector, let me just jump back over here, is going to take a look at your outlets. They're going to test your outlets, at least a certain amount of outlets. Most of them are also going to take a look at your circuit breaker panel and pull off the cover and look at the wiring. But this is always something that you want to ask the company that you're hiring if they do that. And I should also say that that's the case for pretty much everything. Before you hire them, ask what they do and what they might not do. With your plumbing, it's pretty straightforward. A leak. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, it's only water. Well, you could end up having to take whole walls, ceilings, and rip them down because of water damage. Now, water damage can be a slow, silent death to a home. Okay? If something burns or goes up in flames, that's going to be quick. But water is going to be slow, so you could have a slow leak somewhere, a slow drip for years and years, and then eventually it's going to show itself. Now, with plumbing, if the pipe, if there's a pipe that's in the back of a wall and it's leaking, you're going to have mold and stuff back there too. Or if it's up in your attic and it's leaking somewhere, something is leaking, you're going to have mold. You don't want mold. Okay, roof leaks. This is pretty important. It's going to rain. It's Florida and it rains. It really doesn't snow. I mean, we had a little tiny bit years and years ago, very tiny, but typically it rains a lot. You need your roof well built. Very important. Another problem could be the lack of strength, hurricane code. If all of the nails aren't in there, if the bolts aren't tightened or missing, you're going to have a weaker roof. Hurricane straps, there's all kinds of things that are involved. The structure, again, hurricane code, for the general strength as well. You want your structure, you want your walls, you want everything built right. You want it done correctly. Very important. If the bolts that are in the floor are loose, aren't tightened, aren't connected right, I mean, that's just not good. So, your home inspector is going to look around the home to make sure that these things are completed. Now, when the walls are up, the home inspector is not going to be able to see the bolts and stuff like that. Okay? Very important. Next thing is your air conditioning, your heating, which is called the HVAC system. It might not be installed correctly, okay? The vents that are up in your attic might be open. You know, you could have open vents. They could be, not sealed properly. The last thing you would want would be the insulation that's up in the attic that's loose and blown, plus whatever else is up there, to be shooting into your house. You would not want that dust circulating, so you want to make sure your air conditioning is built right. But plus, there's also other things with the air conditioning as well that, can go wrong if it's not installed right. Okay, so the stucco, this is super important. There's a whole bunch of ways to install stucco on a house. Whether the stucco is going on the outside of a wood frame or it's going on the outside of cinder block walls, it's going to be installed differently. But, the stucco can be installed very poorly, So, again, it's great to have the inspector there to look at it. Your property, the slope. Your property has to drain, okay? If it doesn't look like it's going to drain right, or the inspector's seeing something that, could be a hazard in the future, the inspector's going to point it out. Some of the inspectors also look at the appliances in the home. They take a short look at them. They run the dishwasher. They'll turn on the stove, stuff like that. They're going to look at the doors. They're going to look at just, a whole bunch of stuff in the house. But, really, everything that I mentioned, this is probably the most serious. And, this is the reason why you would want to spend a few $100s on it. Now, if you feel like, it's too expensive for it, well, consider, not spending money on other things. For example, $300 for a home inspection can easily be spent on, fast food, restaurants, Starbucks. I mean, Starbucks every day, eating even the cheapest fast food, you could easily spend, $8, $10, each time you eat fast food. Think about different ways to save money. The home inspection it's there for you, but you do have to, pay for it. And, it's something that, again, the whole point of this is that, to save yourself some headaches in the future, and also to have some potential evidence that if you do have a problem with your home in time, you have proof that, okay, well, I had an inspection done, this is what the inspector found, but yet the builder chose not to fix it. So, I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact me. Check out my website at wintergardennew.com. You can always find the latest homes for sale at the bottom of each page if they are listed on the MLS. Also, too, if you are considering purchasing a new home, as I do say in every video, or almost every video, always contact me first, because when you contact builders through their website, their internet sales team, if you call them, you walk in, you show your face, anything that identifies that you are you, typically what happens is it will void your free realtor representation that the home builders do pay for. It's great to have because you want people working for you, and I do work for you as a home buyer's agent. The sales teams at home builders pretty much everywhere are not working for you or representing you. They're in the contract. Excuse me, it's in the contract, not they're in the contract. It's in the contract that they are representing and working for the builder. So always keep that in mind. So your home inspector, your realtor, your real estate attorney, these are people that would be working for you. So thank you for watching. Have a great day.